Hello.
Hello,
What's your name?
Daniel Wagner,
What school do you teach at?
Albany Leadership Charter High School for Girls.
What, which grades do you teach?
I teach ninth, 10th, and 11th grade.
Okay. We have seen many things that have changed over time. How has bullying changed over the years?
Over the years, bullying has seemed to change in that people can now use the internet to bully each other, whereas when I was a kid, there was no internet, so it was more face-to-face contact of bullying or rumor spreading behind people's backs. But now that people can be anonymous online, it seems to be more prevalent.
Okay. How do you think bullying affects the school culture?
It makes people not be themselves because they're afraid of how other people will interpret them.
Do you think bullying affects your school?
Yes.
Okay. A number of students from different schools have said that they have either been bullied themselves or have observed bullying. Have you seen that when you teach or when
Yes.
you're around? You do? Okay. Almost all of the students also said that their school bullying policies were either non-existent or ineffective. What are your bullying policies in your school?
We have our clean values that we try to reinforce. One of those is sister's keeper. So when we hear people saying things about each other, we try to address it right then and there. If someone is taking it too far, we would send them out of the classroom in order to go to the meditation room. We also have TLC, Talk, Learn, Collaborate, where we try and have our girls come together to talk through their issues with each other before anything gets worse. We also do try to, I guess you could say, police what happens online, which is really difficult. I know people have been suspended for comments made on Facebook and of those things of sort, but this is a whole new age, and we've never, as a society, really had to confront what's going on with freedom of expression online. I mean, we're taught, and we have freedom of speech, with good and a bad. So as schools, as a society, we're trying to find out how do we handle the good and the bad of free speech that is done online. Is it our place to police what's going on online? It's really tough. If it's done while in school, you are suspended. So that's one thing that we do find out. If someone is saying something and it's during school hours and they're in school, they're going to be held accountable for that. What happens after school, I don't really know exactly what or how we handle that.
Okay. What do you think about student government, student courts as a possible solution to student bullying?
Oh, that sounds really interesting. It would also depend on whether it be a jury of their peers.
Yes.
That makes more sense to me. I think that's a good way of empowering students to call each other out for negative behavior and to be held accountable for it by their own peers. I think it's stronger if your peers are holding you accountable than a teacher is. Not everybody listens to their teachers or their parents, especially when they're not around. But your friends are usually always around, so if your friends are holding you accountable, I think it's a really good idea.
Okay. What do you think students can do to make the bullying situation better?
Don't be bystanders. When you see it happening, say something. Stand up for people. Stand up for yourself. If it's getting really difficult, talk to somebody about it. Don't hold it in. Don't be afraid to reach out for help, because there's too many people that haven't reached out for help that are hurting when they don't have to be.
Okay. The sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Have a place today as a solution to some forms of bullying. And do you believe that some victims of bullying are just too sensitive?
Ooh, that's a good question. When I was a kid, we would say sticks and stones would break my bones and names never hurt me. I even had it in my head at one point, sometimes bullying, I never think bullying is good, but it will build character to make you tougher, to be able to handle things. If you've been bullied, then when other things happen, it's like, oh, it's nothing because I've been through stuff before. But some people take it too far, and people's feelings matter. I'm a sensitive person myself, so I definitely take offense to things more easily than others do. In this day and age, I don't know if it really works anymore. Mainly because the bullying doesn't stop at school. It continues, or on the playground, or outside of school, the mall, I don't know, wherever people hang out. It continues in cyberspace. It continues on the internet, and it can be a nonstop barrage. So it's just unfair. At least when I was a kid, when I went home, it didn't follow me home. I didn't have the internet. I didn't have, you know, we got call waiting was invented when I was a kid. So I think that people have a right to their emotions, and that no one should live in fear. It's a human right. You shouldn't have to live your life in fear.
Okay. Do you have anything to say for the people who are bullied out there?
You're not alone. It won't last forever. When you get older, I don't remember the name of the bully. I had a really bad bully when I was in middle school, and I can't remember his name. I hardly remember what it looks like. It's really tough now. I know it's tough now. The whole world seems to be closing in on you sometimes, but when you get older, you get to shape your own life and your own destiny. And you most likely won't remember many of the terrible things. So it gets better, like the whole campaign, it does get better. And speak up, say something to somebody. People are willing to help, and you probably have more friends than you realize.
Okay. And lastly, are you against bullying?
Yes.